Hey, my name is Jobby, and we're taking a look at Godzilla vs. Kong. The SH Monsterarts figure's not that overhyped cluster. Hey, fellow Godzilla fans. Instead of crying over someone's opinion and threatening to give me another scar, why don't you put down the fork and go outside? Preferably with a pair of Vessi sneakers, the sponsor of this video. Thank you, Vessi, for that, and thank you for making my 13 hours of walking around my favorite amusement park both comfortable and stylish AF. Love how these things look. They come in multiple designs. Thanks to a dual climate knit, these things keep you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. You can wear these things in the wettest or snowiest of conditions. Truly meant for everyday use. Not only are they comfortable and look fantastic, they are 100% waterproof, so say sayonara to soggy socks. It ain't some chemical coating either. Vessi's special Dymatex material is woven right into the shoe. And if you have too much fun in the rain, you actual child, they're super easy to clean. Just rinse them with water and they're good to go. Or throw them in the laundry, takes 1 day to dry. But only for their weekend design. Also sustainably made. If you care, you should care. Less material waste in the knitting process, less water waste, and no animal byproducts, so they're vegan friendly. Which is great for any potential giant monsters living in the center of the earth. So, if by some miracle you spot me outside, I'll definitely be wearing a pair of Vessi sneakers. Check them out through the link in the description and use my promo code JOBBY to get $25 off your Vessi shoes. It helps me out and your feet will thank you, especially during the rainy seasons. Matter of fact, I'm keeping these babies on for the whole review, even though I don't have to. The boxes look amazing, nice use of color here, which admittedly the movie itself has going for it. And if you must know what the movie's about, Godzilla vs. Kong is about, I recommend checking out this video by StinkyBlueRat. Super funny and very accurate. Yeah, the movie was alright, but the figures here are a little more than alright. With some major caveats. We're gonna start with Godzilla since me and him have some history. The painting and sculpting here is amazing, but I gotta be honest, I'm finding it difficult to say anything brand new about this particular design. For all of you OG viewers who've been subscribed since the beginning, thank you very much for subscribing. You know that the SH Monsterarts Godzilla 2014 was my first ever full review, and you've probably seen my King of the Monsters Godzilla review, which this figure has the most similarities to. Now, I have it from very reliable sources, random kaiju fans on Jobby2 chat, that the sculpting on this guy and the King of the Monsters figure are different. But frick if I can tell you what the differences are, they look virtually identical, which is strange because the movie designs, if you compare them, have more apparent differences. I mean, I guess those differences are captured in the figure here. The face is subtly different. The hands are definitely different, more wide open and vicious looking, but you could switch them out for these included alternate hands, and those are the exact same as the King of the Monsters figure. And I guess the feet look sharper as well, and more painful. Should have worn a pair of Vessi sneakers. Other than that, I can't find any major differences. Oh, the spines. How could I not mention the beautiful metallic blue painting here? These things do an excellent job at glowing under certain lighting conditions. He's also got that paint job in his mouth. Doesn't look nearly as impressive in there though. Looks less like it's glowing with atomic breath and more like he just shoved his face in radioactive Smurf butt. Wish it was Muto, but if you know, you know. While we're here, ball joint at the tongue, and ball joints all around this neck area, which gives you a really good range of motion. Ball joints are the name of the game here. For both figures, the majority of their articulation comes from these dumbbell joints. Those double-sided ball joints connected by a rod, easier to see on Kong, motherfucker. We'll get to that later. And for anyone who's seen my 2019 Godzilla review, the articulation should be familiar. It's exactly the same. However, the joint tolerances on this guy feel a lot better. Pretty tight, but not tight enough that it feels like it's going to break. The amount of articulation here is excellent, and the joints hold their poses, even at the tail, which tends to be a bit floppy on other figures. Good old Godzilla Grundle. And while the amount of ball joints are super appreciated, the chunky proportions that are inherent to Godzilla make it a bit difficult to get him into complex poses. It's possible, but I'm too lazy to get creative. Fuck you, calf swivel. Nothing really more to say here that I haven't already said. Excellent figure. Now, Kong... Now, before you get the idea that I hate this guy, the painting and sculpting here is awesome. Really fine fur detail, and the scars on his chest are subtle but realistic. I can relate. But I can't help but feel that the detail is undercut by that glossy, plasticky finish that makes him feel more like a toy. Could be wrong about this, but there seems to be less painting here compared to the Godzilla figure. It's got its upside, that means the paint doesn't chip here as much. My favorite part of the figure is gotta be the face sculpt. A little bit bland and neutral, but those eyes are just full of life. And to give the figure more life, you can pop off his head, which pops off way too easily, and replace it with this roaring face, which is fantastic. Beautiful detailing on everything here, and you even get a ball joint tongue. And unlike Godzilla, the accessories don't stop there. Pair of fists, open hands, knuckle draggers. I'm not insulting him. According to the box, these hands are specifically for this four-legged pose. And a pair of grabby hands, which allows him to hold this included axe. Looks great. The painting on the bone looks realistic, but it's baffling that the actual blade doesn't have that brilliant blue paint that's on Godzilla. You know what else is disappointing? The articulation. And I'm not talking about the amount of articulation here. He's actually really very poseable. It's the joint tolerances. They're all over the place. Again, majority ball joints, but it doesn't really matter if the ball joints are so fucking tight or pop off super fucking easily. I've even heard of some people breaking these joints because they're so damn tight. Biggest offender is at the core, which should be good. You want the center of the body to be as tight as possible, but not this tight, believe me. Also, that diaphragm cover is kind of loose and pretty annoying. And you could extend the hip joints and the legs feel a lot better than everywhere else. Not too tight, but not too loose. At least on my copy. It seems like the quality control varies from figure to figure. Thanks, Bandai! Again, here's the cap swivel. And watch it with the feet hands. They don't do a great job at standing him up, which is why I recommend you have a stand-on hand like the Bandai Imagination Sacrifice stand. The figure's light enough for a small stand like this to carry him. It feels bad to be so disappointed in this figure. I actually really like Kong in the movie. Maybe even more than Godzilla, fake fan. But fortunately, I do have a fix. Now, if you get this figure, links in the description by the way, and you find his joints as unbearably tight as I do, may I suggest that you grease that monkey. Silicone grease, guys, fixed all of my problems. This stuff's usually used to lubricate faucets and bathroom materials, so it's waterproof, and it doesn't negatively affect most plastics, according to my reading at least. Shoutouts to this channel, whose name I can't read at all,
중잡주중 모형 생활,
for introducing me to the application of silicone grease to loosen up figures. But you only need a little bit on the ball joints though. Too much and he'll be a floppy mess. But as it is now, smooth, holds his position, not creaky. I applied it at the core joints, his arms. Oh, that's still a problem. I don't have a fix for that. Overall, he's just more pleasant to pose. I could even do one of these now with no problems. And hey, feel free to leave in the comments if I've made a terrible mistake. I don't know yet. We'll see how this handles over time. But for now, grease that monkey. While these guys are sold separately at ridiculous prices, I do recommend getting both of them. They complement each other so well. They also look good next to other figure size comparison.
Ooh. That's kind of small.
Here's Mechagodzilla, Godzilla, Transform Element OP Leader, Kong with my Optimus Primals, and spoiler alert, SH Monsterarts Mechagodzilla. Not that one. It hasn't come out yet. Stop asking. So? And? But your mileage may vary, so you shouldn't take my verdict as the end-all be-all. Instead, you should hear a variety of opinions such as—
Hey there! If you like those Godzilla and Kong puppets, then you should subscribe to me, because I made those puppets, and I made a video about them too. I don't know where the video or the channel link is gonna be, but it's somewhere. Well, I'm gonna go. Bye-bye! Subscribe, please! Please!
What the fuck, talking rat? If you thought a figure with a bunch of joint tolerance issues going for this much was bad comedy, you ain't seen nothing yet. No way, Swivel.